Greece is under new onslaught of natural disaster. The death toll from catastrophic flooding in Greece has risen to 6. In the morning, residents of several areas of Karditsa in southwestern Thessaly were forced to take shelter on the roofs of their houses to escape the water. In some regions, the amount of rainfall in 12 hours was twice the annual average for Athens. According to the latest data, 6 more people are missing, while hundreds have been rescued. The Greek government declares this an unprecedented natural phenomenon in the history of the country. Tracked vehicles and boats are used for evacuation, but due to the large amount of debris and the strength of water flows, the boats were unable to reach some areas. At least 3 towns in central Greece remain cut off from the outside world. Rescuers managed to resume the movement of helicopters, which had previously been hampered by frequent lightning strikes. Police banned traffic in 3 regions, including the island of Skiathos, and sent out numerous emergency telephone messages to residents of several regions of the country, asking them not to go out into the streets and to leave the basements and ground floors of buildings. The storm is expected to gradually weaken starting Thursday evening, according to forecasts. Heavy rains also hit the Greek capital, flooding streets and turning part of the main avenue in central Athens into a river of mud, sweeping people off their feet. The severe weather conditions prompted an urgent response from both local authorities and international aid organizations. Schools and businesses in the affected areas were closed, and temporary shelters were set up for displaced people. Rescue teams, made up of volunteers and specialists, are working tirelessly to provide assistance. They face challenges due to continued rainfall and the risk of landslides, especially in hilly regions. Medical teams are also on the ground to treat the injured and ensure the well-being of those affected by the floods. The government has allocated significant funds to restore the affected areas. Engineers and construction crews are mobilizing to repair roads, bridges, and critical infrastructure. The focus is on restoring power and water supplies to areas that have been without these essential services since the floods began. The international community has expressed solidarity with Greece, offering financial assistance and technical support to aid reconstruction efforts. Environmental experts are also joining these efforts, analyzing the situation to understand the impact of climate change on such extreme weather events and making recommendations for future preventative measures. As the country braces for the aftermath of the hurricane, there is a collective sense of determination to recover and rebuild. The resilience of the Greek people is evident as communities come together to support each other during these difficult times. However, the situation remains dynamic and complex. Meteorologists warn of possible side effects, such as contaminated water sources and an increased risk of infectious diseases in flood-affected areas. Authorities are urging citizens to follow health and safety guidelines to prevent outbreaks. The focus is also shifting towards long-term recovery and building resilience. The government, in collaboration with environmental experts, plans to introduce more robust flood protection systems. This includes building new drainage systems and strengthening riverbanks to mitigate future flooding. After the disaster, there was a surge in public initiatives. Local groups are organizing cleanup operations, food drives, and fundraising events to support affected families. These grassroots efforts complement the official response, demonstrating the strong community spirit and solidarity in Greece. Internationally, the crisis in Greece has renewed discussions about climate change and its growing impact on weather patterns. Experts are calling for more aggressive global action to tackle climate change, emphasizing the need for sustainable development and stronger environmental policies. As floodwaters recede, the true extent of the damage becomes increasingly clear. But amidst the destruction, there is hope and a sense of purpose. Greece, with the support of its citizens and the international community, has embarked on a path of recovery and resilience, ready to face future challenges with renewed vigor and readiness. After this, damage assessments were also carried out on cultural and historical sites in Greece. The country's rich heritage makes this an important part of the restoration process. International restoration and conservation experts are being consulted to ensure that these sites are properly restored and protected from future environmental threats. At the same time, mental health support for flood victims is being strengthened. Psychologists and counselors work in this area, recognizing that the trauma of such events can have long-term effects on individuals and communities. Particular attention is paid to children and the elderly, who are often the most vulnerable in such situations. The agricultural sector, a key part of the Greek economy, also suffered significant losses. The government is implementing special programs to support farmers and fishermen, helping them restore their livelihoods. This includes financial assistance, provision of new equipment, and technical assistance to adapt to more sustainable and resilient farming practices. On the international front, the crisis in Greece has led to renewed calls for greater global cooperation in disaster management. Countries share knowledge and resources, recognizing that climate change is a global issue that requires collective action. As recovery efforts continue, there is a sense of cautious optimism. The crisis has highlighted the importance of preparedness, community, and international cooperation. It showed that even in the face of great adversity, humanity can come together to support each other and bounce back stronger than before. The path ahead for Greece is not easy, but the resilience and solidarity demonstrated offers hope for a brighter and more sustainable future.